you guys? This is Jessica Galan, and I'm here on the Youngest in the Yacht Club.
Go to the city and we don't be tucking our chain. Woke up in paradise and we live in the drain. I know it won't be the same. Someone go put a cocaine. Fly Latino gang. I used to dream of something like this.
Youngest in the Yacht Club. I'm Vince Serrano. Got a special guest here, and it's pretty exciting because she's doing a lot. Her name is Jessica Galan. Jess, what's up, man?
What is going on, Vince?
I appreciate you for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
We always start off Youngest in the Yacht Club with a question. Who is Jessica Galan?
Jessica Galan is a 39-year-old mother of two beautiful kids. My son Armani is 20. My daughter Leilani is 17. I am a licensed realtor, and I'm also a cosmetologist specializing in hair and makeup.
That's great. That's great. You said that you were a mom first. How important are your kids to you?
Extremely. They are pretty much the driving force to my life and everything that I do, all decisions that I've made, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
To be very honest with you, very transparent. You know, being a young mother growing up in Chicago in Humboldt Park, we had a trialing upbringing, very rough, chaotic, and a lot.
A lot.
So being a mother to them is the driving force behind what I do today.
For sure. When you said it was chaotic, like what kind of stuff did you experience?
Growing up in Humboldt Park, and for a lot of Chicagoans that know Humboldt Park, they know.
Yeah.
The drugs, the violence, the abuse, you know, that we go through. We were raised, myself and my siblings were raised by young parents. So they were trying to figure it out, you know, in survival of the fittest. I get a lot of my hustle from my mother. Being raised in that kind of environment molded me into the woman that I am today, which is strong, aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely. Yeah. I'm not afraid to speak what's on my mind. I'm not intimidated. I'm extremely confident. And it comes with that upbringing.
Yeah, big facts. Yeah, Chicago's not it's a beautiful city, but it's not easy, huh?
Not at all. I've seen a lot, you know, since 5 years old, I've seen a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, at least you're there. Let's go to, you know, basically your upbringing. What was the path? Like you said, you were a young mom. So like, you know, how did high school, how did college go? Or if that was
Wow. Take me back. You know, grammar school was great. My mom moved around a lot. You know, she always just tried to put us in a different environment every time something went awry in Humboldt Park. And it was from one avenue to the next block to another avenue. So it was all in that realm because it's what was affordable at the time.
Right.
So grammar school was good. Never got bullied until high school. Got into high school, kept my head down. I was a tomboy. You know, going in there, I didn't have any kind of style. I was just trying to find myself, as many teenagers do.
For sure.
So when I started diving into hair and makeup and beauty at the age of 14, 15, I started getting bullied a lot.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't fair because I knew the kind of person that I was at the time. So for me, I took it very personally.
For sure.
You know, went through a dark phase, started wearing all black lipstick, black nails, black everything. I don't know. I was trying to find who I was and what my style was going to be. When you go into high school, you have so many alternative, gothic, sporty, classy. So I was just trying to find who I was. So high school was not hard as far as the work and the homework, the teachers, all of that. I did really well. It was more of trying to find my group, you know, and how I fit in.
So you were with the goth crowd.
Oh, yeah. Alternative goth. I was sporty. And it wasn't until I got into the more casual, sophisticated look that it felt right. And I was like, this is what I'm going to stick with.
What made you go that route?
For what? The sophisticated?
Well, we'll talk about the transition, but like I know you said you were trying to find who you were first, and then like the alternative. What was it? Was it the music?
I was sparked by the styles. in that everyone had. You know, you go from grammar school and it's a whole bunch of kids, so you don't really pay attention to that.
Right.
When you dive into high school, you have from 14 to 18, 19 years old. So they're kind of like grown folk in there.
Yeah.
So I was just really inspired by all of the styles. And I was like, okay, I want to dive in and see how I fit in to this. And it was fun. If you pull some pictures up, you're going to have a couple chuckles. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And even when I first started doing makeup and I look at those pictures, my face was pale white versus the rest of my body. So nobody told me. It was just rude. But it's how I learned how, you know, I had to look at those pictures and then see the transition. I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it.
That's dope. How did you end up transitioning to the more sophisticated look?
I grew up in the salon industry with my uncle, Jose Camacho. And this was downtown Chicago, Michigan Avenue, very high class, very rich, prepped and primed people. So them coming into his salon and being at his salon majority of the time, I was fascinated by that. The intellect, the conversations. I inquired with my uncle a plethora of times, and I said, you know, do you ever get tired? Do your hands ever get tired? You're standing up all day and you're beautifying. And he said, honey, when you love what you do, you don't get tired. He's like, this is fun for me. I get paid to have fun and to beautify people and to use my gift, you know, and give it to them. Oh, immediately inspired. And I said, I didn't have a plan when I was young. I didn't have, you know, I love my mother, but I didn't have a mother that said, you know, start focusing on this, start focusing college or something. It was none of that talk. So I had to pretty much at a very young age decide what I was going to do and stick to it. So that's when cosmetology came about in my head, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
And so at what age was that you decided?
Well, I was 19.
Okay.
I was 18 going on 19, and then a surprise happened. I got pregnant with my son.
Okay.
Put cosmetology to the side and started the grind. Started working, started bringing in income because I knew I had a child to support.
For sure.
So sacrificed that time, but it was still on the back burner.
Right.
As soon as I was up and ready, my son's walking, he's potty trained, ready to go. Surprise number 2.
Pregnant again. Yeah.
Put it on the back burner one more time. And then it was to the point where I said, all right, I worked this wonderful 9 to 5. I'm very appreciative of it.
What was it?
It was downtown Chicago. It was, oh, wow. Brain fart. But it was a ceramic tile company, an Italian ceramic tile company.
Okay.
And I worked there for several years. It was nice. It was great. It was paying really good money for me as a young mother at the time.
Yeah.
But there was something more. So I sat down, I spoke with my kid's father, I spoke with his mother, my mother. I said, I really want to go to cosmetology school and I really want to do this and still maintain my job. So this is going to be a bit of a sacrifice for a year, but I want you guys to know how serious I am. I'm not going out. I'm not doing anything other than working my 7 to 4 and then in school from 5 to 10 every day, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
So, and then it was the grind. I was young. I had energy. And I did it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you ended up working a job. How long were you there at that ceramic tile company?
Probably 4 years, I want to say, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how long was the last year?
My course was part-time at first, so it took about 6 months. I had fell ill, so I had to take some time off. Got right back into it and decided, you know what, I want this full-time. So then resigned from the position.
Oh, wow.
Went full-time in because I wanted to finish faster.
Yeah.
Finished right away and started working out of my house.
Wow.
Every apartment that I lived in had a studio.
Wow.
Because I wanted to work from home, to be with the kids. I had very good kids.
Yep.
And then still work, a 9 to 5.
And still be able to work.
I had to.
Yeah,
I was
for
a
sure.
mother. I needed the health benefits. I needed that constant income. But I still wanted to work on women and beautify women. I got such a kick from it. So I would work out of my kitchen.
That's awesome. So you were working, once you got the cosmetology school, you were still working at the other job, or you went back? Or
Once
you got
I
another
finished
job?
cosmetology, straight to my kitchen.
Oh, wow.
After that, I had to get back on for the benefits for my kids, for health benefits.
Yeah.
So went straight back to work. And it was just random odd jobs at another, manufacturing seating company, which was great income. I was very blessed with good income.
Right.
But I didn't want to let go of the cosmetology field at all.
Dream, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
What made you want to do cosmetology? I know you said you were influenced by your uncle, but what made you say, hey, look, I could do this and I want to do this?
Okay, so I have the perfect story because this is one that I just recently posted. There was a woman that was my mom's friend, and it was through the neighborhood. I remember her coming over my mom's house, and we were on Wellington, and I did her makeup just with random stuff that I had. I did her hair and makeup, and when we revealed the look to her, I mean, it was like a dramatic reaction.
Oh, yeah.
So I was wondering, she doesn't like it.
Right.
Or she loves it. And when she said, oh my goodness, like she was like shaking and looking at herself, it was wild.
Wow.
That feeling to me, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because if I can take a woman from feeling like plain Jane, which is fine because we all have our natural days.
Right.
But if I can take them from that in 45 minutes to boosting their confidence, their self-esteem, that was fuel to the engine. Oh, yeah, all day.
Yeah, so that kind of that was the driving force.
Absolutely.
Just that one time you said, hey, look, I want to continue to do that.
It was in my mind, it was in my heart, and then I still had my uncle to look up to. So it was a driving force for sure.
That's fire. That's fire. So how long were you in Chicago for?
All my life. I've been out here for 10 years now.
Okay, so at what age did you move to Tampa? What made you want to go to Tampa?
Yeah, I knew that question was
because
and I'll be very, very honest. It was, at the time, it was love.
Okay.
My aunt was married to a gentleman that was friends with my ex-husband, and it was because of him,
Because of your ex-husband?
Introducing me to Tampa and coming out here, and I was like, you know what?
From Chicago?
I wanted something different. We met long distance.
Oh, okay.
I wanted something different for me and my kids, and, you fall in love. He gets along with the kids. One way to a man's heart is through his belly. One way to a woman's heart is through her children.
Wow.
So when I saw the relationship build with my kids and him, and then vice versa with his daughters, I was like, I want a family. I want consistency. I want a strong man. So I decided to move out here, and I never went back.
Oh, wow.
Even after the divorce and everything.
Okay, yeah. So you were married to him, and then it didn't work out?
2 years ago, we divorced, and I think it came at the most fortuitous time because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trauma growing up. They say if you really want to get to know someone, know about their environmental upbringing. Learn how they were raised. Is there a mother and a father present?
Right.
And once I figured it out, that there was something lacking, there was a void, I had to dig deep within myself to find what that void was. And like I said, that divorce and him throwing in the towel, and I admit it, I was no saint. We both had our affairs. We both had, there was no trust at all whatsoever anymore. And then I fell into a horrible state of depression, of major anxiety, which my daughter is she knows everything. I tell her everything.
Yeah.
She's at the age where it's not mommy trying to hide everything and have a smile when she knows more or less that there's something going on.
She's asking.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm telling the truth to her because she needs to know.
For sure.
So going into that depression and major anxiety after the divorce or during the divorce, it was needed because it was like I went into a cocoon and then I stood there for a while. I had to get on medication. I had to accept the fact that I was diagnosed bipolar manic, which it's genetic.
What does that mean?
It's pretty much the minute I wake up in the morning until I fall asleep, I don't stop moving. I don't stop thinking. I don't stop. There's so much physical that comes out of me, and it's to the point of I'm exhausted. So to the point of exhaustion, that's when I fall asleep. Because if not, I'm up.
Oh,
I
wow.
keep going.
Yeah.
And thankfully it's not the bipolar where it's 1 minute you're happy and 1 minute you're crazy.
Right.
It's more of like, I'm just nonstop. And I've gotten, criticized for it in a previous dating relationship where it's, calm down. Why do you always have to do so much and this and that? You're all over the place. Like, why not? I'm being productive. I'm happy. This gets me going,
I just don't understand.
They don't. They don't. And being on medication and going through 7 years of therapy, personal development, anger management, I had to face all of that trauma as soon as that divorce hit.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to go into the next phase of my life, the new chapter, still holding on to everything from my past and what was really affecting me. I had to face it head on.
Yeah.
And when I did, when I confessed, a lot of things to my mother, when I gave everything to my counselors and my therapist and my psychiatrist, it was just like, it was lifted. I felt so good I can breathe again.
Yeah.
It got to that point where I was like, I knew something was wrong and I was looking towards another person to help me. Mm-hmm. The only one that can help me was me.
Wow.
At the end of the day, but with his guidance.
For sure.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I had to hit that hard.
Was it therapy? Was it, because, there's the stigma about mental health right now. Oh, everybody's like, hey, ask for help. But, I feel like especially in the community sometimes it's hard to ask for that help.
Yeah.
What?
Face humility.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you know that you cannot do it on your own, when your mind is constantly asking yourself questions, when you're indecisive on so many things, it's like, whoa, I need structure here. It comes from a professional, but in the Bible, he wants you to go to him first. He's okay with you seeking counsel from others that are professional here in the world, but spiritually, I had to connect with him first, ask him questions, wait for his response. I will feel it. There's certain things that just happened in Hawaii that I would have never, Nate and I would have never knew we were going to go through. And boy, we got through it, and it felt like a tunnel, like it came from above into my heart and out of my mouth. And asking questions and trying to find peace because I was disturbed. I was kind of thrown off track. And it was like, okay, here's a test. Now we're going to turn this into a testimony. And him and I, we got through it. Everything is great, but it all happens for a reason.
Right.
And if you're one, for me, my journey spiritually with God is the reason why I'm here today, having this interview with you.
Yeah, big facts, big facts. I feel like
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like you got to be, they say that there's 5 F's that people they'll be either good with their friends, their family, the fitness, the finance, or their faith. And high performers, they'll get 3 out of 5, and they'll be in the 4.5 to 5 range, right? 5 stars. But the other ones, they'll be slacking at, right? And so if you don't get a balance, or if you don't prioritize what's most important to you, all those things, right, you're going to feel a certain kind of way. So I totally understand what you're saying. That's big. Now that because obviously after a divorce, right, it might scare you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. You're
it's not even remotely a thought going forward.
So what was the difference now?
Nate.
Yeah, Nate motivates, y'all.
Yo, I'm going to give y'all a snippet of the story.
Okay.
He was my barber for 1.5 years.
I see you with the fresh cut, first
Always.
off. I want to ask you, when you get it, what made you rock the short hair?
It's wild because in cosmetology school, I had extremely long jet black hair.
Wow.
Beautiful hair. I loved my hair. And I kept getting in trouble from the teachers and the instructors because I would never let any of the other girls test on my hair or cut my hair. I refused.
Wow.
I saw all the hacking jobs that they did and everybody's bleached out hair breaking. Nah, no.
Not going to happen.
But it's crazy because right after school was done, I went to my uncle and I gave him the honor to chop all my hair off. And it was wild. I cried. I was like, what is all this bone structure? Like this jaw, like there's too much face. I can't cover it. What the hell did I just do?
Right.
And it took me about a year because the boyfriend at the time put me down. He was like, why'd you do that? You look like a boy now. It was horrible. But then about a year after, I started finding the actual cut that I love. And it just got shorter and shorter and edgier and rocking out. And, I went crazy with it.
So has that been the style ever since?
Absolutely. Oh, I switch it up.
Yeah.
Colors. I met Stephanie at Homesphere. I think I had purple hair or pink hair. I had colored
So
hair.
you go wild.
Absolutely. you know, YOLO.
Yeah.
Why not?
So you said you ended up going to the barber.
Yeah, so I started going to Nate after the divorce.
Okay.
I started working for Preferred Care at home. I took a 2-year break from the beauty industry.
Okay.
When you face depression and major anxiety, you get a creative block. So I couldn't creatively think anymore on all the steps I needed for makeup because there's so many steps to color correct, to color match, a lot of technique. For bridal updos, there's a lot of technique and foundation and how we start and how it was to the point where I was getting so much anxiety that I was like, you know what? I know I need a break and I'm done. Paid deposits back and took that 2-year break. But that 2-year, everything happens for a reason because I went straight to Preferred Care, which is a home health care agency.
Okay.
When I started working for her, for Genesis, the barbershop is a hop, skip, and a jump away from there. Started going to Nate. He was the first one at the door to my left. But never, I promise you guys, I blush now because I love this man. But when I walked in, it was nothing. There was no connection. There was no real eye contact. There was no crush. There was no nothing.
Right.
Okay?
Just a fade, and that's it.
Just give me, I come in there, no makeup, just do what you do.
Cut.
I always close my eyes. I would say a couple words to him. But, in that kind of environment as a woman, it's intimidating.
For sure, right?
And I just want to get in and get out because I got to get back to work.
Yeah.
I didn't have a full time at that time. I had a fuller time because I was working what felt like 24/7 for this home health agency.
Wow.
So I was in and out for a year. It was several times that he asked to hang out. And our schedules never aligned. One time he did ask again, and I said, Nate, you trying to date me? Trying to take me out on a date? And he said, he was like, nah, you're cool. Like, I just want to kick it with you. You're like my confidant, my female confidant. And I was like, for the first time, a man does not like me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not attracted to me. Cool, come by the crib.
Oh, wow.
Come to the house. My daughter was there. We're going to go outside. We're going to hang out. As soon as he stepped foot in my house and he hovered over me with his giant self, I blushed. It was like the shades came off. It was like a whole new lens.
Oh, wow.
And I instantaneously melted. And I was like, calm down, girl. Like, have this, like, he's cool. Like, this guy.
Yeah. We
had the best time, the best conversations. He would leave at an appropriate time. The next day, you want to kick it again? Yeah, come by. I'm going to have the fire pit outside. We're having some drinks, having a great time. And then again, and then again. And then he never left.
Oh, man. Yeah. And then one time he just, they leave.
He never left.
That's fire.
He never left. Every single day after.
Wow, congrats.
And it's been an amazing journey since.
How's that feel? Like, now that you feel like, now obviously you tied the knot, you're going through the, because he's a very powerful speaker too, and he's a very powerful person.
Oh, yeah.
How did that, like, what was that like? Like, how, like, for you, obviously we know him, but for you, like, what did that do for you?
It's simple. Motivated me. I stood my ground. Okay. So he's at his peak. He's going to his peak.
Right.
We're both reaching our peaks.
Yep.
I stand firm to my value,
right,
my strength, my beliefs, and my standard. And when he came into my life, I was at a point where I had so much in my mind that I wanted to accomplish for me. Not to prove anyone wrong, not to compete, everything was for me, towards myself. And I said, I'm on this journey, Nate. I said, I don't mind dating you. I said, but we are going to have a 6-month check-in because I need to make sure that I'm not wasting my time this time. I want to make sure that what I have aligned for myself, you have aligned your path. and we don't interfere with what we each have going on, because there's no worse feeling than having a goal individually, having a goal and a mindset that you want to reach this goal, and you're not paying that much attention or giving your significant other that time.
Right.
For me, it was constructive communication with him from the beginning, and it was just transparency. This is what I love to do. This is what makes me happy, but I still want the work-family balance. And I'm going to respect that. So when you need it, vocalize it. When I need it, vocalize it. And let's have this communication that typical Hispanics in our family do not have.
Right.
Let's change the mold here.
Right.
You know, we're grown. You've been through what you've been through. I've just gotten through, you know, something really traumatic. Meet me in 6 months. Let's see where we are. And we did. 6 months later, we had the checkup. You're good? I'm good. Anything I can do better? Anything you can do better? And we exchanged whatever needed to be adjusted.
Yeah.
And we're trucking it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You guys just went to Hawaii.
Yeah. Wild.
That's crazy.
It came about. It came about. He's a speaker. And he motivates, and he knows how to have a successful barbershop. You know, he was put to the test.
Yeah.
He passed the test. Now other barbershop owners see, you know, his accomplishments and see what it has done for Headlines Barbershop. So now they flew him out there to Hawaii. Of course, you know, the girl's going to tag along.
Yeah.
I'm not going without you.
Right.
Hey,
it's Hawaii, yeah?
It's Hawaii. So we went. We had a great time. He did his thing out there. I was very supportive, helped any way I can. Also promoting myself and my business out there as well. And it was just massively successful.
How is it you both being in the beauty industry, right? Like what
we can
is
talk
it?
for days.
Yeah?
Because we're so passionate about what we do.
Right.
You know?
So, yeah, because obviously he's in there, he's talking, and he's got the motivational. You do the same thing, right? And you're very I would say you guys are both strong, right? Like you guys could just talk. Do you guys have any like differences in opinion?
You know, to be honest, I wish he was here so you could ask the question. Because it's wild that we get along so well. We have so much in common. We don't have, and if we do have a difference in opinion, we respectfully communicate it.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I don't know. I think it was just established from the beginning. And I think once you establish in the beginning in any kind of relationship you're getting into, how you would like to be, communicate, how you would like to communicate with one another.
Yeah.
We respect each other so much. So there's never an argument. There's never
That's awesome.
You know, if he asks for my advice or my opinion, I'll give it honestly and truthfully.
For sure.
Even if it you know, he doesn't want to hear it. And there's times where I'm so aware of his body language and his facial expressions that I'm like, hey, if that was, you know, too transparent, I do apologize, but this is the truth. He's like, no, I need the truth.
Yeah.
That's why I ask you.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. You know,
yeah.
It goes both ways, though.
They say it. They say your woman's going to tell you the truth. They're going to see things that you're not going to see because we want to see, like, the good in the people.
Yeah.
And your woman's going to see the weaknesses and let you know. And that's important to know. I feel like with Jenny is the same thing. It's like, you know, and she loves everybody. So if she has a problem with somebody, there's something wrong with her.
Oh, yeah. Jenny's a gem, man.
Yeah.
Jenny is a gem.
I love that. Well, you know, one of the things I want to ask you, you know, because in Youngest in the Yacht Club, right? And obviously you're doing a lot. You're selling a lot of homes. I'm seeing the listings all the time. I'm seeing the closed. You're doing the beauty. You're even looking to expand at this point, which is awesome. Like, how does it feel to come from where you're at and then like see the growth in you, see that you can come from these things? Like, how does that feel? Like knowing that?
It feels fucking amazing. Man, I tell you, ask me that question 2 years ago, you would have received a whole different response. You would have even been looking at someone completely broken and shattered and probably hovered over. It took a lot to get through what I went through, but listening to motivational speakings, I knew I had to go through it.
When you say motivational speakings, like what?
Yeah, so there's one that I listen to on YouTube. It's called Motiversity. Yo.
Gems.
Oh my God. All day, every day.
Okay.
All day, every day. And I used to listen to music to get me going at the gym.
Yeah.
Listen to music in the house. And when it's my time, when she's at school, when he's at work, this Motiversity has different characters in the entire video. It's like a 2-hour, and there's so many. And it's just nonstop motivation and reflection. It's like, this is where you were, and this is where you are now, but this is where you're going. Yep. It's never gonna stop. The hustle, the grind, the desires, the education that I want. Like, let me tell you, Vince, I never was a reader. I only read in school because I had to.
Because you had to, because it ain't gonna pass.
I had to read in cosmetology because I had to read what the hell I was doing with people's faces and hair and everything. But to read on my free time, never. No. It wasn't until the divorce that I started opening books. The Bible being one. I've been in the Bible for 4 years now, and I introduced it to Nate. Of course, he knew the Bible. He grew up, in a Pentecostal family. Yeah. But had he really read? An amplified version, for individuals like us that cannot open the standard Bible and read and understand it, the amplified version was my way. And introducing that to him, he hasn't put it down since I bought it for him for Christmas.
He talked about that too. He said that he had to be introduced, to a version that could speak to him. Yeah.
And it's wild when I sit and reflect, because I ask God to use me to share his word in any which way or form. And when I sit back and reflect, it was me suggesting it to Nate, and then Nate reading it, and then us talking about it at dinners with other husbands and wives. Now they purchased it. It's my best friend in Chicago, Mari, that, there's some trials and tribulations. And I said, Mari, I cannot give you any other advice except this book. I said, and I'm going to buy it for you. Next day, air it. And I would like for you to start at this page. And I said, and then you take it from there. Wow. And it's just like, it's a nonstop of paying it forward as best as I can, because if that saved my life, it might help somebody save theirs.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see that faith is a huge part in your life. Just by talking to you, I think this is the first real conversation like we've actually had. And so knowing and seeing that, you've brought up your faith, throughout this interview. How important is that to you? Like,
extremely.
Why?
Extremely. Without it, then I'm going based on my own understanding. With it, I have his understanding. For me, when I read the Bible and I take in his words and the structure in it, the experiences, everything that has happened in that book is happening in the world today. Yeah. So me reading it every single morning, that's how we start our morning. We read it, and it prepares us for the day. Yeah. So no matter what trials or tribulations come knocking at the door, we already built that defense shield, on our hearts, on our minds, on our eyes, on our mouth. And for me, I never had a father figure. Oh, I'm not going to cry. I'm fine. We're good. So I hate when that happens. Yeah. Only women understand it because it's a knot that starts to build. But when you breathe, I learned that in therapy, you're good. Okay. So not growing up without my biological father, him being present in my brother's life more so than mine, for whatever reason may have, you already forgave him. We're good. We've moved forward from it. But I didn't really have a solid father figure. And again, I mentioned, with what happened with my divorce, I felt like that's one of the voids that I needed to fill. And who better to fill that than God? So now that I have this personal relationship with him, and I talk to him every day as if he was sitting right next to me, he guides me before my closings, my deals, I ask him for all advice. And it is the most peaceful feeling in return that I can get, that when I sign a piece of paper after I talk to him about it, if it's an important decision, even with our marriage, you know, we prayed over it before we got married. Keeping him in the center of it all is going to give me the full peace that I need to know that I'm on the right path.
That's fire.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, there's a lot of people that want to, they don't understand, like you said, it's kind of like you're on your own understanding and we don't know it. And then when you're actually looking and you're saying, look, I'm smart enough to know that I don't control everything, and there's something out there for me that's guiding me, and it, you know, whether it is, you know, it's different for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But knowing, hey, look, there's something out there that's leading me towards my purpose. It's important, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, then that's how the depression and that's how the anxiety and that's how, you know, because you think you control everything, you really don't.
No, I thought I was strong enough to control a lot. And for the most part, growing up, you know, a lot of my actions, I felt I was in control. But mentally, I wasn't in control. Physically and verbally, I was in control. But mentally, I was suffering. I was struggling. I was self-doubt, jealousy, rage, physical abuse. For me, fighting. I fought with more men in my life than I ever had with women.
Wow.
And I think it stemmed from abuse. Wow. You know, growing up as a young girl and being abused sexually by 3 predators, it was an aggression that I had towards men subconsciously that I didn't even know until as of late, you know, going through therapy. It was like a trigger. So if any relationship that I was in since the age of 14 was my first boyfriend, I've always hit every single man that I've ever dated.
Damn.
Absolutely.
But not Nate, though.
Oh, no.
So definitely not every single.
I am telling you, life is completely 360.
That's fire.
And, you know, it's crazy because we all have our triggers still. We're never perfect, but we're always in perfection mode, right? So with Nate, we have a word. I mean, we talk about everything, Vince. So Jade is a name that I wanted to be my last name after my situation had happened. It was going to be Jessica Jade. I wanted to drop Camacho because I'm like, why am I carrying this name? I don't know that side of the family. My dad doesn't care to be a part of my life. Why am I holding on to this name? This name pisses me off more than it does make me happy or proud to wear it. So Jessica Jade was it. Jade Realty, Jade everything, like Jade. It was powerful to me. It has great meaning behind it as well. So when Nate came into my life, you know, I told him I don't identify with Jessica Camacho of who I used to be. Jessica Jade is who I want to be. I want to be the role model. I want to be the best mom, the best girlfriend, the best sister, the best realtor. Every title you can think of, I just wanted to put forth the most effort that I can to be the best that I can for me, for my own fulfillment. And when I get tried, when I have my monthly friend, let's be real.
Yeah.
And I switch.
I know all about that, Jenny. It's like on the 25th. I know what time it is. I gotta wonder.
Crazy.
Like, look at the time. Oh, that's why you hate me. Okay.
Isn't that crazy? The fact that you guys pay attention to it, because as you can see, there's some things we women cannot control, even though we want to kind of control our emotions and our you know, attitudes and our responses. We are irritable, we're agitated, everything.
Right.
And he'll just say Jessica Jade, but he says it so not sarcastically. Right. He says it so passionately and gentle, and then he gives me a moment. I think the benefit that Nate has done in our relationship versus his previous is that he really studied me. I mean, all of me.
Yeah, like psychology, everything. He really looked at your behaviors, everything. Yeah.
He can tell, like, when I'm off. He can tell when I'm sad, when I'm getting upset. And then he has a transition for himself on how to handle me. And I think with him putting in that effort in return is a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have to deal. it's not adding fuel to the fire. You know,
Right.
some men are like, what the hell's wrong with you? Or why you acting like that? Why you always crying? Why you
Yeah.
the fuck I know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm crying.
Yeah, yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, either you can be sympathetic, empathetic towards the situation, and he is. He has such a caring, kind heart. He's a big man. He strong voice and very aggressive, but at home, right? Nani, he is chill.
That's dope.
Oh my God. He's
So,
aware. Yeah.
Blessings to that, man. I feel like that's important because it sounds that you found the person for you, like the person that understands you, the person that cares for you, and stuff like that, and everything, and that just moves. It makes you go through life a little bit easier, right?
Oh, absolutely.
How let me ask you this: if you could go back to any point in your life in time, and you could give yourself one piece of advice to kind of that young woman, what would you tell yourself? Where would you go?
Wow. Oh, my mind is going wild. Because it can go, that question can go so many different routes.
Right. And we don't have regrets here, right? No. It's not regrets. It's just a piece of advice to tell you, like, you know, if you're going through that time, or if you want to tell yourself.
Okay, so one piece of advice that I would give myself.
How old are you?
Probably in my early 20s.
Okay.
Because that's when things were getting kind of crazy.
Okay.
And I would tell myself, this one hit. Look in the mirror more. It's a different kind of receiving when you as a woman, or you and your young self, can look at yourself and stay there and really look. Because when I've recently done it at my later age, if I could have done it sooner, I would have, because it would have helped me mold myself and make better decisions and choices. But when I recently looked at myself in the mirror a couple years ago and I had a conversation with myself, it's like, you're better than this. You're better than that choice you made. You're better than that decision. You're better than
the doubts,
You're better than all of it. You can make it. You can do it. Just look at yourself. Take a moment and fucking look at yourself.
Yeah.
Are you proud? Are you happy where you are? No, then change it. Is today day one, or is it still one day? You know, so it's, come on.
That's big time.
Yeah.
That's big time. So look at yourself and be happy with the person you are, or if you're not, change something about it. That's big. That's big. I've never had anybody answer it like that, so that's powerful. I love that. I love that.
Hey, off the top of the dome.
Yeah, yeah. And I try to. This is why we don't, script it, because we want the natural reactions, right? Because it's crazy. We don't want to, obviously, we want to make sure that we take into account, like, with all respect, but we also want that organic answer, that organic opinion, not something that you can just, oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I wrecked my brain, the moment you invited, which I was very extremely honored. I was so nervous. And I was like, well, do we plan? Is there like a script, or is there I don't even know. I've never had this opportunity, and I'm so glad I took it, because, it's just one more thing to overcome. So now on the next invite or whatever have you, like, it feels good. I feel great though. So thank you.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, we try to have an inviting, very comfortable set here. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's perfect, right? It's Youngest in the Yacht Club. Yeah. Just where can everybody, if they, what are the services you provide, and if they want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So my social media platform is where everyone nowadays, no one's exchanging phone numbers.
Right.
So, we pass out a business card, they look at it, put it in their pocket, probably forget about it.
Right.
So social media at my.agent.jessica on Instagram, or Jessica Galan on Facebook. So everything is on there. And I just updated Jade Freelance on my business page on Facebook. So my services you can book through there or through my social media platform.
That's awesome. And what kind of services do you provide?
So I provide traveling services.
Wow.
On-the-go makeup, full makeup applications for any kind of event, weddings, galas, photo shoots, which are the ones that I specialize in now, and then hair styling services. I do haircut, I do hair color, but that's when I get into a studio to be able to stock all of that inventory. But right now, it's been super hot for my traveling services, so
that's awesome.
That's what I provide.
I got a question, man. Do men ever get makeup? Because I was doing this, yeah? Because legit, I was doing, I help a company called Heights Financial. Shout out to Heights, by the way. And my daughter, Richanella, was like, oh, man, I thought I was going to get my makeup done. And I was like,
For men, it's different because we'll do touch-ups. So if they have any blemishes, any pigmentation, we can touch them up without making them look done up.
Oh, okay.
So and then it's setting powders as well. So if you have, bald clients that have a very shiny head, but you want to mattify it out, you know, there's products for that. And it's a quick touch-up. They love it, though.
Okay.
Anytime I get to service a man and with makeup, it's a joy.
Yeah. We might need to get you on First Take because they had my dog Shannon Sharp looking crazy. It was his first time.
No.
Yeah. He was like it was just crazy.
No.
He got on TV and was like,
It was too much?
It was too much, man. He was a dark dude. He's on TV, right? So he was on this show called First Take. And it was the first time the lady did his makeup, man. It had him looking.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it had him looking crazy.
No.
Shout out to Shannon Sharp, First Take, Stephen A. Smith, and all that. Jess, we appreciate you being on the show. I definitely, I think that your story is amazing. Being a woman, sometimes it can be vulnerable, but the thing that I got from you is that, with your faith, your family, the friendships, you can get through it all, and I think that's huge. Is there any other message that you want to leave to the people?
Y'all check out Youngest on the Yacht Club with Vince Serrano. Y'all got to get on this show. This guy is amazing. Straight off the dome. They asked me all these questions. It's pretty dope.
They say I'm a good interviewer.
You are. I am thoroughly impressed.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get a drop from me.
Cool.